Okay, good afternoon, everyone. So my presentation is about value creation from big data. So let's start. So I will give a big data overview because the previous speakers have already gave some introduction and some discussion about big data. So I just gave a very quick overview about this one. And then I will talk about the opportunities of big data for the operators, how we can get revenue or how to get value from the big data. And then I will talk about the usage of big data, how to use big data to create value. And then I will give some standard considerations. So what is big data? So basically it has several characteristics. The first is about volume. So it has big size. So for example, from Twitter, every day it creates 9.5 million records. And also for the Facebook, every day it creates 25 TB logs. And also for YouTube, it creates 168 TB videos. So it's a lot of data. And how to handle this large data, we need to have so centralized storage is not enough to handle that. And the second one is the variety. So basically we have many kinds of types of data. For example, we have text, and we have picture, we have video, and we have all kinds of data. How to handle this kind of data is a big issue. So from the statistics, so we have more unstructured data than the structured data. It's around 80% of the data is unstructured data. And the last one is the velocity. So basically we need to handle the data in a very timely manner because we need to handle the data, process the data in real time. In some cases, for example, social network, M2M, and e-commerce, and the mobile advertising environment. So we need to handle the data as quickly as possible. And based on the data, we need to think about how to use the data and how to create value from the operator. So we can say that carriers have more valuable big data than the internet companies, because we have a very good system, and we can have many big data, for example, BSS data, and internet data, and network data, and VS data. So for BSS data, for example, it can include customer profile, and product subscription, and customer service, and campaign touch, and bill information, terminal information. These kinds of data are from the BSS system. And also we have internet data, for example, web page browsing, and keyword searching, and web page view. So we can get this kind of data from the internet. And also we have network data, for example, PS, CS probe, and DPI, and also OMA, EMS data, and the user internet access log, something like that. And for the value-added service, we can also get some data from the service. For example, subscription, usage, and download, and product, and content. So this kind of data are very useful for the operators. So we can say the operators can get value from the big data. For example, it can enhance the management level. So basically we can predict the trend from the big data, from the analysis, and act as soon as possible. We can monitor the traffic and then perform some promotion based on the big data analysis. And also we can improve the business efficiency because we can get the data analysis and then improve the efficiency based on the analysis. And also we can have efficient technology and low cost. So we can use advanced technologies to achieve that with lower cost. And also we can improve the customer experience because we can provide different price or different product, different promotion to the customer, and then make customer happy and improve the customer experience. And also the last one is to have innovative business model, because based on the big data analysis, we can have useful information and then improve the business model and have a competitive business model based on the big data analysis. And then I will talk about the usage of big data. So firstly, we can use big data for the real-time campaign. So we can use different kinds of events, customer events, for the real-time campaign. So we can have network use event and service process event, service use event, and life cycle change event. So for the network event, is based on the signal needs and basic network usage. For example, power on, power off. And for the service process event, is based on the service process. For example, we can view online and have some service process. And the service use event is based on mobile network usage. For example, we can subscribe, and we have some services, for example, mobile reading, mobile animation, and something like that. And the life cycle change event, so for example, customer care. So based on these kinds of events, we can have the real-time campaign based on the customer events. So the next one is about the personalized promotion. So basically, we can have the unified customer view. So we can get the history of users' behavior in the network and on the internet. And we can get this download history, calling history, and have a unified view of customer to understand the customer. And then, based on the customer information and based on the order and based on some rules, some policies defined by the service provider, then we can have different personalized tasks from different channels. For example, we can have multiple channels and then deliver the promotions through different channels to the customer. So the next one is about social media analysis. So basically, we can use social media to promote some products. For example, even our vice president, he has a blog. So usually he will send some information public, our latest mobile phones, and then attract user to buy. Now it's not based on big data, but big data can be used for this purpose, and it can make the situation better. So the next one is about precise advertising. So we can have precise advertising based on the big data analysis. We can get the user information very accurately. For example, we can know whether the user is on holiday or is on the subway or is near to the shopping mall. Then we can give the advertisement based on the user's location, based on the user's time, based on the user's interest. And then we can get more revenue and feedback and maybe purchase based on that advertisement. So this is very useful. So the last one is about data openness, because the operator have many useful data, and they can open this data and they can open these capabilities to the third parties, to let the third parties to use this kind of data to have different kinds of services, to provide more services. And we can have online analysis and also the analysis report to give them to the third parties. Now let me talk about the standard consideration. So I participated in TMF Big Data Analytics project. So this project started in February this year, and it will finish in October according to the current schedule. Maybe it will be delayed a little bit. So the planned deliverables include the reference model and best practice technologies and business metrics. Currently, they only define the first one, reference model, so the other three are in the process. So they plan to define that in the near future. And currently, the participants, we have operators like Orange, Verizon, and also vendors, telecom vendors like Ericsson, Huawei, Amdocs, Canvas, and Alcatel-Lucent, NEC, and others. And also we have internet participants, for example, IBM, Oracle, HP, and some other companies. So basically in the TMF Big Data reference model, they define different layers for the big data. So the bottom layer is the data source. The data source can be from BSS, OSS system, and also it can be from social network. And then above the data source is the data ingestion. So it includes integration and data collection functionalities. And above that is the data management. So we need to analyze the data based on the collected data. And then above the data management is the data analysis. So we can have metrics calculation and data mining, data modeling. And also on the top layer is the real-time stream processing. So we need to process the real-time stream. For example, video and maybe music, to handle that in real time. And then based on this big data platform, we can have many applications. So the applications can use the result, analyze the result to provide some personalized service based on that. So on the left side is the big data repository, is the storage to store the analysis, the result, analysis result. And okay, this is not the next one, but that's okay. So for the OMA standard considerations, so basically I have several observations. Firstly, I think we need to reuse OMA enablers in the big data technologies. For example, maybe we can reuse mobile codes, as we discussed before, and we can reuse location enabler to connect location data, and also we can reuse mobile ad enabler to deliver mobile advertisement to the mobile device. And so the second point is some technologies are out of scope of OMA standard. For example, the network, the backend network processing technologies. For example, data mining and data handling, data collection, how to collect data, how to process data, how to mine the data. These kind of technologies should rely on the implementations. So that one, these kind of features are difficult to be standardized. So what's in my mind is about the network API. I think this kind of API may be standardized. For example, we can expose data to third parties. So for example, we can define the data model to identify the roles and the actors, and then we can identify the different types of data and the related elements, and we can define maybe a common framework of data model and define how the additional data can be extended. And also we can define data access mechanism, for example, search and retrieval, how to search the data from the platform. So we can define the access authentication mechanisms, and we can define consistent, unified, and efficient data access, and controlled, secured access by authorized entities, and maybe charging information support. So I draw a diagram like a figure to say we have a big data platform, and then it can open the interface, open the API to the third parties, and then the third parties can research, can retrieve data from the big data platform. So this is just a rough idea, but I'm open for further discussion about the standard opportunities. So that concludes my presentation. Thank you.